What's up, everyone? Kevin Allen here, aka The Geek from DFS Army, and this is the NFL Week 7 Week in Review, where we take a look at both my cash lineup, how I got to it, using tools at our disposal, and we're going to take a look at the Milly Maker, how it was achieved, and let's see if we can actually replicate that lineup using the DFS Army Domination Station backtest tool. So I love this. It's really, really important every single week to look back, see what you did, see what went right, see what went wrong, see what the tools pointed to, and see if you could have done something differently, right? Those are the absolute keys in DFS to getting better and improving every week. And I love doing this, so I hope you guys get a lot out of it. So let's start with cash, and I'm going to show you my cash lineup for the week. This is obviously my DraftKings screen, and I'm going to show you my cash lineup for the week, and then I'll show you how I came up with the lineup. I'll show you what I could have done, and and different things, and what won. How do we do? So initially, I just want to show this was my cash lineup, and I went with Herbert, Josh Jacobs, Kenny Walker, who were core plays for me this week, and everybody else. It was basically these two. Mike Williams, who got hurt in the game but was doing fairly well. CeeDee Lamb, who was supreme chalk, even though I wasn't so comfortable with him, but very chalky. Chris Godwin also projected really well. Tom Brady is a fucking mess right now. Foster Moreau, Isaiah Pacheco, and Jets defense. And the regret I have is, of course, I also have a regret, was Isaiah Pacheco. Got a little excited about him starting for the Chiefs at cheap price, and I get excited for cheap running backs. That's just how I do it. And obviously that didn't work out very well, as he only got a 4. But I want to show you, first of all, that I'm going to show you two really interesting things here. Number one, I entered this in head-to-heads as well as in a standard 50-50, because I wanted to show the difference between head-to-heads and 50-50s. And if you take a look here, in the head-to-heads, I tried to enter 50 of them, but only like 36 got filled. But I went 19 and 14. So I won 19 of the head-to-heads and lost 14 with about a 59% win rate, which is a profitable head-to-heads win rate. Not a huge ROI, but didn't lose money. Low profit. Now, note that I also entered this lineup in a few different types of contests just to see what happened. Here in the power sweep, and I think this is fascinating, in the power sweep, I actually finished in the money, 16th place. That was in the money for this contest. It was, I think, the last spot in the money, but nonetheless, it finished in the money. So it goes to show you can enter a cash lineup. The style of tournament that you want, though, is a little teeny one like this. 68 people entering it. A lot of people don't really like to enter those style contests, but you should. So it did barely make the money line in that. It did not make the money line in the screen pass contest that I had entered. But also, basically, if you take a look here at this giant 50-50, it just missed the cash line in 4030. So you needed a 154 to hit the cash line in double ups. It would hit the double 50-50 cash line, but in a double up, you needed to be at 154. So I was just outside of the money line with this lineup. So I'm going to show you how I achieved it, and I'm also going to show you what we could have done differently. So first of all, this week was a little bit weird. This is the DFS Army chalkboard, and this is where we really get our cash game approach from. And normally we want to just absorb the highest owned or the highest projected ownership players. So at quarterback, part of the challenge this week was there was no quarterback that really stood out in terms of ownership. Geno Smith was kind of a little bit above everybody else at almost 12%, which would have been fine and a better, okay play. I ended up going with Justin Herbert. We looked at a lot of these different guys. You guys know I never play Derek Carr in DFS. I never do. And Lamar Jackson stood out a little bit, but he was very expensive and obviously a massive dud. Your other choices were Geno Smith, Justin Herbert, Joe Burrow, and they were all right about the same amount of ownership. So I ended up going with Justin Herbert, who did okay. He got like a 27, 14, 21. So he delivered cash value. He kept us on pace. Didn't blow anybody out of the water. It was fine. And I'm fine with the choice of Herbert. Obviously, Joe Burrow could have been the pick, and he would have done even better. Actually, if you had Joe Burrow, you cashed. At running back, Josh Jacobs and Kenny Walker were the chalk this week. I went all in on them across all my entries, but and they absolutely smashed. Austin Eckler was the third on the list, and had I played an Austin Eckler-based lineup, I would have cashed everything. Foster Moreau at tight end, obviously it stands out here. At wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, Tyler Lockett. I squeezed Mike Williams into my lineup primarily because I really liked him after Keenan Allen was kind of like gimpy, but especially Palmer was ruled out. I figured they had to throw a ton to Mike Williams. They did, but again, he got hurt late in that game. Really just, he didn't quite get the explosive game. He had a good game, but not the game we needed to carry us through the duds from CeeDee Lamb and Chris Godwin. I was looking to avoid Tyler Lockett all week. I didn't like that he had a hamstring injury coming into that game. And obviously Jamar Chase smashed as well, but you couldn't play him at 8,200. So just a reminder that the chalkboard is here. And of course, New York Jets defense was the obvious defense play. So the chalkboard here that we put together over at DFS Army, it tells the tale of cash every single week. And if you're good at just listening to it and following it, you're probably going to make a lot of money in DFS playing cash games. I know that's the antithesis of what other people talk about who don't know what they're doing, but those people don't know what they're doing, which is why they say those things. Now, one last thing I want to show you is this is the DFS Army Domination Station Optimizer, and we are in backtest mode. So we're taking a look at the slate. I've essentially, and I'll do this again just so you see it on screen, I reset settings. So I go back to the default settings that we had at the close of business when lineups locked yesterday. So real quick, if I just run this raw, and we're in backtest mode, and next we're going to do the Milly Maker, but if I just run this raw, the top lineup, the optimizer and our projection model loved Daniel Jones this week. Now, I thought it was a little too scary to play it in cash, and I didn't do it. I have a little bit of regrets, but if you take a look at this lineup that generated the top optimal this week, put up a 186-point final score, which was good enough to not just, let me show you. Let's go back to this lineup here, but it wasn't just good enough to cash every single tournament, in every tournament and every cash game lineup. But let's see what this would have done in the power sweep. Just to see, 186.34 wins the power. Well, now you still needed a 201. So even in a mini tournament, that doesn't win. But what was that score again? It's a 186.18, which would have been good for 186.18 right here, about 7th place, 8th place, let's say. So a nice little finish in a tournament, a nice little top 10% finish for the top optimal. The second best optimal, lineup number 2, hit 190.78, which would have been good for, looks like about 6th place in this one and $500 prize on 150. So nonetheless, the lessons, number 1, once again, and we've done the show a lot. I can't remember a week this season where just having played essentially what was the top optimal or some version of this didn't finish in the money. It's nailed it every single week of the season. We're in 7 weeks in. If you don't have this tool and you want to check out DFS Army, of course, you should be doing that. Promo code GEEK gets you 10% off VIP. We're even better across NBA and NASCAR and every sport that you want. And this is why you see DFS Army members winning tournaments constantly. We're very different from other sites. Other sites, again, look around the industry. Other sites only have their staff winning tournaments. That's the difference between DFS Army and, I'm not going to say the names, but you see it. It's always the staffers who are winning. It's not their subscribers. The difference with DFS Army is we put our actual best forward in our tools, and it causes our subscribers to win more frequently. So just keep that in mind. If you want to check out DFS Army, go do that. Promo code GEEK gets you 10% off VIP. And of course, if you like these reviews, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you get this kind of content. We're breaking everything down. We've got daily NBA shows, everything you want going on. So let's take a look at the Milly Maker this week. What won it? And let's see if we could replicate it using the backtest tool. Now, this is going to be a challenge because here is the Milly Maker winner, and congrats to Bamor for taking down $1 million. And let's take a look at his insane lineup that did it. And when I say insane, I mean, I don't even know where to begin with this. So it starts with Joe Burrow, and he's got a stack here. He's got a Burrow +2 stack. So, hey, welcome back, stack +2. There is no bring back on this one, though, which I like. So Burrow with Jamar Chase and Hayden Hurst is the stack. And quite honestly, Hayden Hurst did not add anything to this stack. He did the same as Cade Otton. So it's irrelevant, the second person. Essentially, what we need to look at here is a Burrow to Jamar Chase stack, but just know that this person purposefully did a 3-man with Chase and Hayden Hurst. And I think that's a good move to do, even though Hayden Hurst didn't add to this lineup. At running back, we've got the trio of chalk, Eckler, Walker, and Josh Jacobs, and that's going to come up. At defense, we've got the ultimate chalk defense with Jets. And so the only real variance from what everybody was doing is, listen, in order to fit all of these expensive players, you kind of had to play 2 turds, and the 2 turds that he chose just really fucking crushed it in Hardman and Paris Campbell. And these were just what was left, right? That's what I think I see going on here. So let's see if we can, let's actually take a look at, the next couple of lineups here and see like what the top few people did. So here's another Burrow lineup, right? Again, 1, 2, 3 chalk running backs. You got your Jets, and then Mecole Hardman, you kind of needed this week if you're going to win anything. And here he went DJ Moore, who actually the Dom Station, I think we're a lot more likely to replicate this lineup in our run because the Domination Station loved DJ Moore this week. Obsessed with him. The 2 players that the optimizer loves, and you'll see it when I run it raw, were 2 of them, Moore and Daniel Jones. I wonder if there's a Daniel Jones. Problem with Daniel Jones, unstackable. So your Daniel Jones lineups won't win because they would be unstacked. They needed to be unstacked. Here's another Burrow lineup in the top group. And in this case, this one got to Tyler Boyd, which, again, in the 2-man stack, this one doesn't even have Chase. It has Tyler Boyd. But obviously, if you got Chase and Boyd in a lineup together, that'd be the ultimate. So what I think I'm going to do here, and it actually has Hayden Hurst too. This is a 3-man. What? A 3-man. Burrow. Oh, no, this is a 2-man. So Burrow, Boyd, Hurst. So this is another Joe Burrow +2, but in this case, he got Boyd and Hurst. No one got Burrow, Chase, and Boyd. How the hell did that not get hit? So I think if we got a Burrow, Chase, Boyd lineup, we will be able to actually win this tournament. So again, this kind of breaks it down for us. So let me go over to the Domination Station. I have not tested this, but let's set up a stack here. We're going to set up QB, no less than 2, wide receiver, tight end, same team. We'll set that one rule in place. Now, a lot of times I do no less than 1, but I'm seeing here that this week, the Joe Burrow lineup, you need really, ideally you want 2 players with him. So again, in the interest of expediency, instead of running 150 lineups where I set Burrow at 25%, I think what I want to do here is just run 30 Burrow lineups and see if we can hit the Milly Maker winner. So let's set it to 30. And again, this kind of replicates a run of 150, but it'll just happen faster on screen. And we're going to force Burrow to be our quarterback, right? We're just going to force that. And the reason I'm doing that again is because I just want to, I know that the Milly Maker, you needed Burrow, you needed him a sack, so might as well just not just randomly run it. Although, again, in our backtest streams that we do in the offseason and my retest streams, I like to run 150 like I would a regular slate and see if there's any set of options that I could have tweaked to get to that nuts lineup. So I just ran 30 Burrow lineups here, and I'm going to sort by Final Fantasy points to see what we got and where we need it to be. Right? So in our first run, our highest score is a 195. And we're getting Burrow, Chase, Higgins. Let me take a look at these chat combinations. We're not getting any Boyd. We're getting Higgins and Hayden Hurst for the most part, and then Chase and T. Higgins. So one of the first things I do when I'm running a stack is I don't want this one stack to be every single lineup. So I'm going to set, and I definitely was not a big fan of Hayden Hurst at all this week. So I'm going to set a max of 10 lineups for this Hayden Hurst stack. We know it doesn't win. Actually, let's go to 8. I wouldn't have liked it even in season. So we're going to set that to 8. A couple other things I want to take a look at here on the player pool is just make sure that we're loading up on Jets defense. This was the core defense of the week, and I went all in on Jets. So I'm just going to leave them pretty heavily exposed. I'm also going to, let's see here. Yeah, wide receiver, CD Lamb. There's my guy. So I'm going to give a like to Jamar Chase to make sure we get him in some lineups. Let's give it another run. I have a feeling, like I said, this one will just pop up as soon as we get some Chase and Boyd in there, it's just going to happen naturally. So let's see about that. There's Chase and Hayden Hurst, Higgins and Hayden Hurst, Chase and Higgins. So I'm going to also set a max on this Chase and Hayden Hurst of 5. As a matter of fact, I'm just going to send, I don't love Hayden Hurst, and it wants to default to him because he is the cheapest player, and it makes it easier to double stack. So what I'm going to do is we're going to set a max limit of Hayden Hurst, 20% of lineups, which is a standard way that I would approach a slate anyway. I'm going to give it another run. Too much Hayden Hurst. And we need Tyler Boyd in these lineups to really have a great shot. But let's see if we can. I just want to see if it will ever just grab Tyler Boyd. There's all Chase and Higgins. Again, I like the stack, but I'm going to set a max on it. So let's do this again. The only way I'm going to get Boyd in here is if I got to smash a love on him in a minute. So there we go. Ooh, no, Higgins and Boyd. All right, so let's set a max of that. 6 lineups. And again, what we're doing is one of the cool features of the Domination Station Optimizer is it allows you, when you're building stacks, to set limits on how many lineups will occur with that stack. There we go. There's Chase and Boyd now. Okay, now we're starting to get some lineups that we like. And now, there we go. We're getting some scores. Boyd and Chase, we've got a 225. That's not quite the Milly Maker winner, but it's getting closer. Now we're going to do, we'll set some uniques on these because who's running Milly Maker lineups with 1 unique? We don't do that. So I'll set 3 uniques on this thing. Yep, 242.84. So 242.84 gets us a top 10 Milly Maker winner. That would have scored us 9th overall, 10K. All right. Now, what could we have done in addition to this to really make this work? Well, let's see. Burrow, Carter. We got Burrow, Walker, Jacobs, Chase, Boyd. Then Cade Otton, Carter, and Austin Eckler with Jets defense. Here's the second one. Yeah. So let me take a look at our player pool. The only way we're really going to win this Milly Maker, by the way, Kenny Walker should be closer to 100%. So I'm going to go, he was my core play. We're going to raise him up a little bit. The big thing this week was you needed 1. Now, I'm surprised we're not getting DJ Moore a little bit more. I'm getting a couple of shares, but he's just not ending up in the lineups that we need. So, and these guys are kind of turtly. I uncheck him. I uncheck him this week. I always uncheck him as well. So let's see if we can give it another run. Yeah, it's still not going to default for the guys that I want. 242.8 is good. But how do you actually win the tournament? Very simple. First of all, we got to give a like to Boyd here so we can get him a little more natural. But the players that you needed, we needed one of either Mecole Hardman or Paris Campbell. So I'm going to set a minimum 10% on Hardman. I'm going to set a minimum of 10% on Campbell. I'm going to give them each a love. And this is a little bit of cheating. I don't know that I would have done this or anything like this during the actual slate itself. I was not particularly high on either of those 2 players. So one thing you can say, no, I got nothing. I got nothing pointing to why you would play those guys. I wonder if maybe having some, yeah, there we go. There's Paris Campbell. There's Mecole Hardman. We're still sitting at the same, so they're not showing up in the lineups that I would like them to. Up a little bit more and see if I can get them in there beyond their yeah, they're still not going to show up natural in any lineups. 242.8. Carter. Oh, because look, DeAndre Carter is 8.75, and I've got Campbell at 7.9. We got to put him at 9. Okay, let's try it now. Nope. I wonder if ownership. No. Yeah, the total percent owned for these top lineups is really high this week, by the way. And this is really, really interesting. So I have an idea. How about this? Ready for this? Force at least one player under 5% owned. Let's see if this helps. So this will this setting that I just added will force one player under 5% owned at wide receiver in every lineup, but that's Tyler Boyd, so we need 2. Let's see if I try it with 2. Ah. This looks like it should have won. Oh, but it lost. Jamar Chase. So here's a 227. This actually got worse. 239. So this approach is not working for me. I mean, we got pretty close here already. I've got an idea. I'm going to set tight end in the flex to 0. I'm going to set wide receiver in the flex low here. Let's see if we can nail it like this. I should be doing a full run, but yeah, 242.84. So this is as close as we're getting right now. I don't know why it won't put Carter, why it's putting Carter in. Oh, because Paris Campbell must be a little more expensive than Carter, and this is spending the full salary, so it can't get him in there. Literally need to go 10.5. I need to go 11 here. This will smash it. We're going to cheat code it now. There we go, 257. So with a little cheat code, we can get there. And basically, the cheat code was if you just raise up the projection for Paris Campbell, you're in. So this is a 257. This beats the Milly Maker score. How do we get there? Again, and I do these raw. I don't do it beforehand because I want to see what it took to get there this week. So what it took to get there, and it was a lot to win $1 million this week. It wasn't easy. It was not an easy win. It's a Burrow +2 stack. You got your chalk running backs trio, and these are the most owned running backs, 1, 2, 3. So the highest chalk trio of running backs possible, right? A chalky, cheap tight end that didn't make it, wasn't a difference maker, but was chalky enough. And Paris Campbell. That's it. Needed Paris Campbell. I'm going to see if there was a version, if I smash a like on DJ Moore, if that does anything. He had a really good game, and he was one of the better plays on the slate. In hindsight, I was getting a ton of him with the optimizer when I was just letting it run raw. So I'm just kind of want to see if I smash a like. And there we go. Here's another lineup that just randomly showed up, 255.04. This one had and this looks a lot more like the GPP winners. Actually, this is the what won, right? It was a 255.04. So we have now replicated this one as well here. So that's the exact lineup that won the Milly Maker right there. Walker, Jacobs, Chase, Hardman, Campbell, Hayden Hurst. Again, didn't really help, but didn't hurt the lineup. Austin Eckler, Jets defense. Boom. All right, guys. Anyway, that's our Milly Maker review. Let's take the lessons we learned from this week and the last couple weeks and keep them with us going forward. It looks now like QB +2 is coming back with a fury. If we get these monster games, QB +2 of really works. I would venture a guess that if we ran some Mahomes +2 lineups, and that wouldn't have been too bad this week either. Mahomes ended up putting up a ton of fantasy points, and you had the Hardman play. So that would have been somebody that could have been paired up with him. The other guy that could have been paired up with him is Juju Smith-Schuster. So I'm not going to do it now, but essentially, I think there are probably some good versions of a lineup that could have been made in the Mahomes +2 approach. And just, I'll give it a run just to see if we ran all Mahomes lineups. Yeah, you got a 2-2-2. So not quite. Why isn't it playing Ramondre? Or Kenny Walker needs to be in every lineup. He was in all my lineups this week. There's no reason not to have that guy in almost every lineup. Let's run it again here. So with Mahomes, and Mahomes was not part of the Milly Maker winner, it might not be achievable, a really a Milly Maker win type score, but Mahomes +2 kind of works, but this is about as good as it gets. So yeah, with Mahomes, looks like about around 222 is where you were going to be in your Mahomes lineup. So, take that for what it's worth. Couldn't get there with Mahomes. That's why, obviously, you needed, the difference is Burrow just put up so many more points than Mahomes, and that's really a lot of the difference in the score here. So again, NFL Week 7 in the books. We're looking forward to Week 8, but some lessons learned here. QB +2, no bringbacks is what took down the Milly Maker. It was very close. We played chalk running backs, pretty much 3 chalk running backs, and a big stack with Burrow. Got you really, really close. Won you a lot of tournaments. And in the Milly Maker, of course, you just needed Paris Campbell, which that's just blind luck. To me, or Mecole Hardman, blind luck plays. I think Mecole Hardman was less blind luck than Paris Campbell because Mecole Hardman was like in this $4,200 zone on DraftKings where you were just like, who are going to play here? I don't know, Zay Jones, Alec Pierce. There were all these kind of mediocre to bad plays in that zone. And MVS, Valdez Scantling, any one of them, they all seem like the same play to me. So a little bit of blind luck there, but a lot of well done lineup construction. And of course, a freshly crowned Milly Maker winner. So that's going to do it for this one. Remember to subscribe to the channel for more DFS content every single day. We've got stuff coming out for you. I got my DraftKings First Look out already, so make sure you check that out. FanDuel's coming next. And we have a showdown breakdown tonight for DFS Army VIPs. Got a big one tonight with the Bears taking on the Patriots. So good luck this weekend, everyone. Good luck in Week 8. Let's kick some ass. Let's take some names. Sign up with DFS Army. Promo code GEEK, 10% off.